Hello again, this is BBD, and I'm about to record another block daily. And this time I'm playing the Bant Hexproof deck. And if any of you guys watched the coverage for Pro Tour Avacyn Restored in Barcelona, this was the deck that lost in the finals, and two people, Gudenis Vidiguris and John Finkel, were both playing the same deck in the top 8. And the deck really has not changed much since then. And it's actually kind of fallen off of the radar a lot. I haven't seen anyone play this deck in quite a long time, and I think it's actually pretty good again because this deck kind of preys on mid-range decks, and the meta right now is just full of mid-range, like red-green mid-range decks. And so I think that this deck is a good choice again, and that's why I'm choosing to play it. So start out by talking about the mana base a little bit. We've got a bunch of, I'm just going to drag this here. We've got 4 Evolving Wilds again. This is pretty much a fixture in almost every deck that isn't monocolor, or the white-red aggro decks don't play them either. It's just great. It's just like the best fixing in the format. Hinterland Harbor is the dual land for green-blue, and that's the only dual land that these colors have. Just 1 plains for Geist of St. Traft, it's the only white card in the deck, and you can get it with Evolving Wilds. And then Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls is actually very good in this deck. It's kind of mediocre in some of the other decks, but in this deck, if you name Spirit with it, you can cast Strangleroot Geist, Geist of St. Traft, and Dungeon Geist, and like that's kind of a big help because like green, blue, and blue-white, like these, it's very difficult to cast all these cards on curve, but like Cavern of Souls is one of the few ways to do it. And so it's just like really big at helping you do that. And like Abundant Growth, again, we're playing 4 copies of Abundant Growth to really help fix our mana, just to make sure we can cast all these spells. We have Avacyn's Pilgrim to help ramp. That allows us to play things like turn 2 Geist of St. Traft, which is very backbreaking against a lot of decks. So basically the idea behind this deck is to play guys like Invisible Stalker and Geist of St. Traft and then just go big with them. Just hexproof creatures, and then we have like 4 Spectral Flights, 3 Increasing Savagery, and then 4 Wolfear Silverheart. So, you know, the main goal of the deck is to just make these guys big and kill your opponent quickly. And to go with that, we have like Strangleroot Geist, again, plays offense well and also defense well. A lot of lists run like 4 Stalker, 3 Strangleroots, but I really love Strangleroot Geist a lot. I think he kind of does everything that you wanted to do, and I don't like playing less than 4. And then like these cards here kind of serve a dual purpose. Like Dungeon Geist is like a kind of aggressive creature. You can like Silverheart it, you can Increasing Savagery it, it has evasion, so it's good with like these pump spells, and it also like locks down one of your opponent's creatures, which like does a lot of things. It helps a Geist of St. Traft connect, and it slows your opponent down so that your cards can like win. Because you're kind of just, this deck just races. Like it's not really a deck that is looking to trade back and forth with your opponent. You're just trying to race them. And Dungeon Geist really helps a lot with that role. And since no one's really playing Restoration Angel, it's pretty good in the format right now. Silent Departure as well just buys you time and helps like punch these guys through. So that's kind of the gist of the deck. Talk about the sideboard a little bit. There's a lot of cards here for the aggressive decks. Like, you know, these 8 cards here, and maybe even Garrix, come in against aggressive decks. And the reason that there's so many cards for those decks is like those are the worst matchups. Like the very aggressive decks are kind of the worst matchup for this deck because they put like a lot of pressure on you fast, and your cards aren't really good at like removing their creatures. You're just trying to race them, but they're kind of a little bit better at racing you than you are at racing them. You know, so they can chump block a Geist of St. Traft Angel or like a Geist of St. Traft. They can just like trade with it, but at the same time, you know, you're getting hit by like a Champion of the Parish for 6 or something. So you want to like to bring a lot of cards in for that matchup. Ovenwald Tracker is a card I like a lot for that, because you have Increasing Savagery and Spectral Flights, and like Wolfir Silverhearts, your guys get pretty big, and then every turn just activating this guy is going to like kill a creature off, and like it actually allows you to attrition out the aggressive decks, which is something you otherwise can't do. Wolfir Adventure is just a very good body on defense, and he's not bad on offense either. But like his main purpose is coming in against aggressive decks and just playing defense against them. Flash him in, eat an attacking creature, and then you can just keep regeneration mana up and like make it difficult for them to attack you. And then Tree of Redemption is the same thing, except Tree is actually better in this deck than it is in any other deck that plays it. And the reason is Increasing Savagery and Wolfir Silverheart. When you bond those with a Tree of Redemption, you gain a lot of life. I won't explain exactly how it works, but if you have +1/+1 counters on a Tree of Redemption, every time you activate it, you gain like half as much life as the +1/+1 counters are on it. Like permanently gain that life. So like Increasing Savagery or Wolfir Silverheart on a tree against like an aggressive deck is almost impossible for them to beat, because not only can they not really attack through it, but you're gaining life every single turn by just activating the tree during every end step. Garruk is very good against like the zombie deck again. It's the main reason I have him in the sideboard. I bring him in against decks that have like Pilgrims and Scorn Villagers as well. Dissipate and Grafdigger's Cage are just for like the control decks, like the Angel of Glory's Rise deck, and like the Miracle deck. You want Dissipate against the Miracle deck. You want Grafdiggers against the Angel's deck, Angel of Glory Rise deck. And Grafdigger's Cage might be good enough against zombies too, but I'm not actually sure whether or not it's worth bringing in. But anyway, this is the deck, and hopefully, it performs pretty well. I think it will. So I'll be back for the first round in a bit.